So indeed, I think the words, well, the actual words and not the abbreviation, WTF was uttered here at a certain moment in this game, because wow, Aces High, I mean, you called it. They got a jungler who could, in Pantheon, that could make something happen early, and they just snowballed out of control.
Yeah, I mean, they did. Let's say if we ignore the first like 5-6 minutes, then suddenly everything just worked for them. The Pantheon, every single gank was great. We did talk about the start for the Pantheon here. We wanted to see more towards the top lane, help out the Kassadin. But as soon as he could get going through the bottom lane ganks, it was just too easy for him to snowball. And I have to say, Kiwi Kid, when you're playing Thresh and you completely waste your summoners and you're against a Pantheon, you know he has ulti because you time it every single time. What you do as a Thresh is you stand behind your AD carry and you don't go for any trades. You have your Lantern ready in case there's an ulti coming in towards you, and then you get out safely under your own turret. Instead, they stay in the lane, they take trades, Janitors goes in, Lantern slow, Pantheon jumps in, double kill bottom lane, and suddenly Pantheon just gets going.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much. This game is just... I have to say I'm really disappointed in Dignitas here, in this series already. I mean, the first game was, yeah, I mean, kind of convincing, you know, but then again, it just bot lane completely getting
outclassed.
Yeah, they're getting outskilled here in that.
2 games in a row. Two games in a row here.
Just solo killed in a 2-on-2 without jungle pressure, basically, and then Shifter being a bit too overconfident with that Ahri pick, because Syndra had a lot of free roam actually, and then went up in CS on him. Pantheon wasn't doing all too much in early game, but then he got the 3 kills or 4 kills in like 1 minute, and then after that, the game just went out of control. Crumb's really not doing it, like he couldn't do much then, in my opinion. But yeah, just overall very poor gameplay from Dignitas, I think.
Yeah, it felt overconfident. Yeah. After the first game, where of course they had a massive goal lead, they won the game. In here, I mean, you look at, let's say, the picks. We talk about the Aris, and Vicious talked about it as well, how risky it is into the Syndra. We talk about, again, they're playing the bottom lane. Ghostblade was picked up by Core JJ, even though they were so far behind. This is an item you use to snowball the game. Not when you're behind. You go for like a static shift at this point into a Last Whisper, and you just try and be as strong as possible. And sit there and you have the wave clear from the shift as well. Instead, he goes for Ghostblade. And overall, like the way Dignitas has played in the mid lane as well, we had this team fight going on where they used the ulti from Ahri, used the ulti from Graves, and instead of them backing away and respecting the fact there's a Pantheon who's going to ult in and just kill you, they walk up, start hitting the tower. Obviously, Pantheon jumps in, and another team fight won by Aces High, and they just managed to completely snowball the game from there.
Let's actually talk or give a little bit more credit to Aces High. We did highlight that bottom lane, but just in general, they had the Sivir and they played the comp perfectly. Whenever they were able to get a pick, they just went forward and they had absolutely no hesitation. I don't know if that's a conscious decision or if you're just so far ahead that you just roll in and
I think it's just the fact that Ace's bot lane is just completely outmatching Dignitas bot lane in this case. I mean, everything happened at bot lane, and if Dignitas wouldn't make those rookie positioning errors from like Kiwi Kid especially, then Pantheon would have never been able to snowball that hard, in my opinion. And yeah, Dragon fights, and then the fight at mid lane, what the Fischer just said, is just completely, that showed like that either Dignitas is playing with zero respect, or they're actually having like huge issues in the communication, because they tried to trade in, like they got like they used 3 ultimates already, and then Pantheon still the ultimate. They tried to siege a tower against the Pantheon and Sivir, who can just run at you and just overwhelm you with their stuff. And yeah, just...
And you were also mentioning that with the comp that Aces High was running, actually, they could fall off late. They didn't really have a tank that went in, and if Dignitas had played the fight correctly and long rewinded, they wouldn't sustain through those fights, but they just split up all over the place. Yeah,
so Aces High plays a comp where it's all about getting their first pick and start the fight, and then you have this insane chase because you have the Sivir, you have the Kassadin as well to slow down targets. And because Dignitas kept being out of position, and Aces High just took full advantage of it every single time they could. So full credit to them. They saw the openings, went for it, got the first kill, kept chasing, and just cleaned it up over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean, we have been praising Holy Phoenix quite a lot, but I just want to highlight this guy's decision-making in the last team fight. I mean, we don't have a clip from it, sadly, but the way he chose the targets, I mean, when he ignored the Lee Sin and just flashed over the Lee Sin to actually get the Ahri kill, that was, like, very impressive decision-making, you know? Against a team like Dignitas, you would say, yeah, Dignitas should actually, like, outclass those guys, and he's actually, like, his decision-making, the way he targets people, the way he uses flash offensively, like, even when there's player on the map still, he just flashes and ignores the Lee Sin, has like less damage threat, to go for the Ahri to actually get the kill and then make sure that they can actually close out the game. So yeah, I'm actually like both disappointed by Dignitas and impressed by Ace.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic play coming out of Aces High here in that second game. So it's all tied up. We're going to have a decisive game 3 after the break.